Hello everyone, this is Teddy Keckstedt from Forex Trading Unlocked on March 11th, 2020, and we are here with a daily Forex market analysis and live trading webinar for you. Before we get into our markets and trades for the day and our signals, we actually have a bunch of signals that were triggered yesterday. So we want to just have our disclaimer up here to remind you that this is for illustrative purposes only. So with that, we're going to go now to our, actually before we get into it, we're going to talk about some buy and sell signals today. There are high probable Japanese candlestick patterns, and if you want to read about them, you can, the title of a book is High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, available on Kindle and paperback on Amazon.com. So with that, let's get into our live action screen here. We have the forex-trading-unlocked.com website pulled up already with our workstation page already pulled up. Let's make this chart just a little bit bigger for you. So here we go. And all right, here we have the US dollar, Turkish Lira. Why are we starting with this? Well, we have some signals and we're going to concentrate on the majors in a few minutes, but we want to first get to showing you where dollar strength and dollar weakness is. We had a signal in the dollar index yesterday, so and we will get to that in 1 second, but I want to show you, see how this volatility of this Turkish lira is. We have US dollar strength re-emerging, and this is very important. We've come off a higher move high. We've set a higher move low in the grand scheme of things. So this trend, the bull seems to have returned. Be very mindful of this. For those of you that trade this, you need deep pockets for this one. So since we mentioned the dollar index, let's bring this over here. As you can see, the dollar index yesterday had a very, very big bullish move. Just between Monday and Tuesday, the volatility, I mean, basically the dollar index is only slightly higher on the week, but the thing is that the volatility it has had is ridiculous. So speaking of volatility, since we started out with our lesser currency crosses, we're going to work our way into the stronger ones. US dollar, Mexican peso, look at this, the volatility it's had just in the last 2 days. I mean, it is just insane. I mean, on Sunday night, it opened up and screamed all the way up to 22 pesos, fell all the way back down to this 20 pesos, 20.29, and now look at this, it's back above 21 pesos to the dollar. So we have some wide parameters here. This is just an indication showing you once again dollar strength is coming back. So that dollar index short-term turn that we had yesterday is getting followed through with our minor currencies. US dollar Canada. Now this is another raging bull to talk about gapping, opening on Sunday night and needing to fill a gap. Now right now it seems to be struggling a little bit. It was positive today, but the range is pretty tight. I mean, considering the volatility, all of a sudden it's going back to a normal little tight little US dollar Canada range trade. So we have a gap that needs to be filled here. Right now we're keying off of our high of yesterday at around $1.3802 as our breakout level to the upside. Dollar strength still is here. We do have a gap down here. I mean, this volatility just this week alone is insane. I mean, we settled last week at 134.20, and look, we're talking about a high of 138.02. So almost a $4 move in the US dollar Canada just in the past few sessions. So we are waiting for a signal here. We do not have one here. So now we are going to get to where we have a signal. So we have one in the US dollar Japanese yen. Imagine that. This market has tanked over the past 3 weeks, as you can see. Now we have had a buy signal yesterday. We have right here, this is called a bullish engulfing line. It was confirmed, and right now we have a better buying opportunity. We filled this gap that was here from the weekend, and now today, as you can see, the market had gotten hit a little bit, and now it's trading right in the middle of its range, and our buy signal is in place. Now we have wide parameters here because of this volatility. We have an initial target zone of here 106.66 up to 107.99, and if we challenge this 107.99 pivot, that's actually a good sign that we actually may hold a neutral to higher posture for a little while with the US dollar yen, just because this is a key pivot area. And then we have this 108.45 area, which if we breach this, this was the area that had contained the initial was very big resistance. If you go looking back around the marketplace, it's been an area where there's been lots of support where the market has fallen back down onto and bounced. So the question is, will it bounce off of this or will it propel it above it? So any trading above it definitely would have us very bullish again, at least in the short run. Now markets, they go out like they came in. So let's just say that we have a short-term turn in the market, and if that is the case, let's move this over here, make this a little more clear. So let's say that this turn happened 2 sessions ago. Yesterday's buy signal confirms that a short-term bottom is in play. Well, there's definitely a short-term bottom in place now. That's not even a question. So, but it's a major lower move low after a higher move high, which has this market actually in big neutral. So for the market to correct back up into this area that we're looking at, that's not really outside of the realm of possibility. Well, it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility, but the probability is definitely leaning towards that it will inch higher. Now, does that mean it's going to happen this week? No, not necessarily. This trade could take a week and a half to manifest. With this volatility, if it dies down, I mean, look at how it was trading before all this stuff happened a few weeks ago. If we start to fall into a trade like this, we start chopping around, we could just go drifting here below this 108.45 for a while. So right now we do have a buy signal on extreme volatility. So our parameters are pretty high, so this is not for the faint of heart. This is probably an options trade, which we're going to get into right now. So that's what we've done. We actually we put the binary option of greater than 104.25. Okay, so what does that mean? So for those of you that are not familiar with binary options, we're going to put this right here at 104. And we're going to adjust the coordinates to 104.25. So what does this mean? So this line right here, which we just put, we're going to make this a little bit bolder. Okay, so this here is our strike price at 104.25. So right now the market is currently above this. So this market, this position says US dollar Japanese yen is greater than 104.25. It expires in 2 days. As you can see, we put the trade on today, earlier today. It expires on the 13th. So today is the 11th. It expires on the 13th. Currently, it is slightly higher. That's because there's a rally going on in the Japanese yen right now. So when the market was slightly lower, we gotten into the trade. This is our strike price. Now, as long as the market stays above here at any time, we'll be able to get out of this with some value. If the market closes on Friday and we let the option expire, then we get the full value of the profit. Only if the market falls below the strike price of 104.25 do we have a loss, and definitely if it closes below there, then we lose our complete. We already know our risk though. So our risk on this trade, oops, we're going to the wrong position here. So our risk on this trade was the average price here was 56.50. So that was our risk, and then we have the potential to pull in 100. So just make around 80% on the position if it's a winner, and if we lose it, we know exactly what our risk is. It's capped. We're only buying time. So now we have another trade that we're looking at here. We have a Swiss franc long, and the reason I brought that in is because since we have this buy signal here, let's go into our next buy signal. This is our segue. So we have the US dollar Swiss, which has been selling off big against the dollar for the past a few weeks. Now we've had a bullish engulfing line buy signal here as well, and as you can see is today, earlier the market had been falling lower. This gap from the weekend has been filled, and now as we are speaking, the market is rallying and hovering just below its highs of the day, and where it opened up yesterday when the trading session started. So this is kind of big. We have a lot of bullish momentum. Remember that the UK, the Bank of England, cut their rates, so this is probably fueling what's going on in the European currencies. We have this target zone of 95.20 up to 96.02. This is a very viable correction area. That doesn't mean that we're saying that this market is a bull. If anything, we are looking for a corrective move higher before the US dollar Swiss franc takes another nosedive, because we're really bullish the Swiss franc, and not just because it's rallied so much in the past 3 weeks. We were just surprised actually, that it actually hit so far, especially in the past few sessions. And now, as you see, we're back into this area where if you look back, this is where the gravitation, most of the trading has occurred over the last almost week. But because of the weekend move, that really just set up touched off volatility in a huge way. So we have our buy signal. We know where our target is, and our risk is the low here of 91.74. Any failure from here definitely has us on the bearish side and out of this signal. So since we already, the market is coming back like it is right now, we will wait the next couple sessions. And then we will start to, once we hit the 95.20 spot, we'll definitely start to raise our stops to break even and a little upside, looking to press this move up to this 96.02. So that's how we're looking to work that trade. Now we have another trade to look at. We have the Euro US dollar. There's the big one that everybody's always looking to hear. What's Teddy going to, when is he going to talk about the euro? Why doesn't he talk about that first? Well, I sometimes do, but I wanted to save one of the best trades for last. This market has not seen volatility like it has over the last 3 weeks in over, well, definitely well over a year. This is a very big deal. So, I mean, when you think about it, the Euro US dollar has had range, just yesterday alone, had more activity in it than it did in any probably 2 to even upwards of 5-day period any time over the past like 3 months, especially because the market was trapped in a $3 range. So we have this bearish engulfing line sell signal that has hit the market, and we're wondering, is this going to continue? You know, that is the big question. So I think that the volatility definitely is here. The sell signal we had, now if you look at the trading from today, the market tried to rally. It didn't work out for things. It just didn't happen. And now look what's going on. We have another, we're making new lows as we speak. So right now our sell signal is looking good. Our target zone is down to 111.40, down to 110.52, somewhere in this area. This would be a nice little bottoming area for where the market has been trading basically for a long time. So if it settles down in here and starts to chop around, well, that would look a lot like it did for months on end before we were heading into the 2020 and the new year. With this volatility, look at what we've seen. We started out the year, we came down, we were right, actually, the beginning of the year was pretty much right in the middle of the range of what we've had trading just over the last 3 weeks, which is insane that the market eroded like it did. It took a month and a half to get down to make this low, and then within 3 weeks, it's gone all the way escalating up to $1.15, where it has not been at that market level in a while. So anyhow, we have this target zone. Once again, this is where we're looking to hit over the next 3 to 10 days. And as far as positions, we do have a long from 114.21. We have our stop in at 113.80 right now. When we have a target price of, let's see, we're short from 114.21. We have and then we have a target price of 110. We already have our stop loss in at 113.80, and that's because we've already been in this trade and caught already such a move that there's no reason not to make sure that this winner doesn't turn into a loser. So, and now we will keep it where it's at and let this trade run. We also have the Swiss, where we are long here at 93.05 with a stop loss at 93.20. We have a positive position on that one. That's for the MT4. So for MT4 traders, you're familiar with that platform. And we also have the Forex.com web trader up too, because we're partnered with them. So we want to use this one as well to show people how this works. And we moved our stop up here. We're long from 92.64, and we have a stop in at 93.02. So this now, no matter what, is in, as long as it's not a week held over the weekend and hasn't moved like it did on Monday, this will remain a winning trade, and we will continue to raise it as momentum goes higher. So we have those signals so far that are all going together. It's kind of nice that we have this big bounce that obviously happened in the dollar index. Now think about it. The Euro US dollar is the biggest component of the US dollar index. We have the dollar rallying in a bunch of other the minor crosses like we showed earlier. And now here, look at this. Talk about volatility as well. This market was a grinding bear for months. And then just in the past 3 weeks, came off lower move lows, made a higher move high, and now is right back in the middle of it, back underneath this downward sloping trend line that it took out before. So now, if anything, really what's going to happen is this line goes to here now. This becomes our new trend lower. So the question is, do we go back up to channel resistance? Resistance, or do we go back to test support? Well, right now it looks like dollar strength is coming into the market, especially versus the other currencies. Remember, coronavirus is becoming a big growing problem once again. We're starting to get real numbers now because the rest of the world is much more transparent than China. Now we're starting to find out how much they really covered up and were caught off guard, one of the two, back in the fall. So we'll see what kind of an impact it's going to have. The UK, remember, they just cut the rates half a point, or I'm not sure if it was a half a point. They cut the rates. I was in the middle of another meeting, so I don't know exactly what the number was. But we've had a nice little swinging action going on for an afternoon trade for the currencies. Right now for the pound US dollar, we have the 132.01 upside pivot and a downside pivot of 127.16. In between there, this thing isn't a wide range trade. We have no grasp on this one because it's been pretty steady for months on end going sideways, and no matter what, it just doesn't seem like it wants to. I mean, look, it rallied really nice for a week and a half, and then all of a sudden yesterday, shabam, it just took out 3 days worth of trading in the past like 24 hours. So not much to go on with the pound US dollar. We have not covered the Australian dollar US dollar. One of the reasons why is because with the volatility this has had, is what do you make of this? I mean, it set a lower move, it made set a higher move, lower move high and a lower move low, all within the course of a day. Now it's stuck in the middle of the range. I mean, we have 66.86 upside and 63.14 to the downside for our breakout pivots. Everything in between right now, I would say this market overall is bearish. The trend is definitely lower, and maybe we can use the we'll take the high from this beginning of this move, and we'll come down off of this recent lower move high and set that as our trend base. So maybe, I guess, we get a violation of this downward sloping trend line. Then maybe, well, even still, they could just be neutral. This market, look at with this kind of volatility and shakeup. I mean, can you imagine? Nobody could have done well on this day. Every long and short had to just gotten just completely chewed up. Unless you started out flat and were fast and nimble, I don't see how anyone could have done anything but gotten hurt on this day. So, and hopefully no one got too hurt on it, because we definitely don't like market moves like that. So you always have, that's why you always have to have discipline with how much you're trading with as well. So the New Zealand dollar, US dollar looks very similar to the same trade in the Australian dollar, US dollar, doesn't it? So yes, it does. And what do you do with this? This is the same thing. We have super wide parameters here. I would use caution and wait for a setup. These extremes, are they erroneous? No, they're definitely not erroneous. Do they mean something as far as major support and resistance? Well, everything always means something. I don't know. Right now, I think the upside part is more solid for this point here than this lower area. I think that was a bit of an extreme, but it could also be an indication of where we're going to be in the next month or two. So who knows? Maybe that this low here, which has been set, now we had a lower move low, lower move high, lower move low. As long as we don't take out that lower move high and we make another lower move high, well then I think we're going to head back down towards this 60-cent level. Am I very bearish this market overall? Absolutely. Right now I think that it has more of a chance to continue lower than to go sideways. So this will be one of our big indicators. So I think the US dollar yen is something that you're going to start to see flight to quality in that market. So stay leery of looking for correlations in the Asian currencies right now, because we have divergence going on in a couple different currency crosses. So once again, we want to review our trades. We have the US dollar JPY, where we have a buy signal. Ironically, that we have a high probable Japanese candlestick pattern right here, a bullish engulfing line that is now targeting this upper area. So just like we started off this webinar saying about the book, High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns, to check that out. You can learn how to trade these patterns if you read the book on Kindle or in paperback version. So right now, our target zone, once again, is we are bulls looking for a challenge of the 106.66 area to 107.99, somewhere around this upper band right here. This is our first buy signal that we covered today. Then we have the US dollar Swiss as well that has given us a buy signal. We have a bullish engulfing line just like we did in the yen. This market as well is giving us an upside target zone of 95.20 to 96.02. And then we also have in the Euro US dollar, where as we were covering that market. It was making new lows. We'll take a look at this last to see what's going on here. We have this bearish engulfing line, and yes, we are hovering below or just above the lows. And let's see, we also have just taken out the pivot from yesterday. We were looking for yesterday's low to be a downside pivot. Breakout for the bears, and this is definitely triggering that, what's for sure. So now we have our sell signal is reconfirmed by us making newer move lows on the day, as we were talking in this webinar. And our area that we're looking to target is 111.40 down to 110.52. This is still a nice little sell-off area, and for a downside correction into this area, it's very probable that you can get this type of momentum to reach down into this area. Now, does that mean we're going to plow through it and continue lower? That remains to be seen. But right now, we are a short-term bear. We're just working to signal. This market has rallied so extreme in the past 3 weeks, more so than it has in over a year, that we have to look at this as a corrective move. Right now, we have a sell signal, which helps us to confirm the fact that the euro US dollar is set up for a potential correction right now. That's why we are short. We're working these trades. You saw that we are short here for the euro from 114.21. Our stop is in at 113.80 because the market's already at 112.73. We'll definitely be dropping our stop as of the close of today. Once again, our US dollar long here, we have it at 93.05. We have our stop in at 93.20. And we will see how that trade manifests also, where we will be moving that stop up as well. And then we also have, remember, we have our yen trade on where we have the 104 quarter, which is, and that's the big thing to remember for this trade. So for the, we have the outright Forex trades for the euro and for the Swiss rather, and then for the US dollar, Japanese yen, let's look at this binary options level once more to show you how at 104 quarter right here, this is, as long as the market stays above this, our position will stay in the positive. So we're hoping that that one works out as well over the next couple days. And just to remind you, if you want to learn about how to trade these signals that we were talking about, they're covered in the book High Probable Japanese Candlestick Patterns. I highly recommend it. It's available on paperback and Kindle version on Amazon.com. And through it, you can utilize the best buy and sell patterns used for over 400 years to give yourself a competitive edge against the markets. And with that, we want to say thank you very much. We had a very interesting week so far. Thank you for coming back to find out how, whether or not the signals did occur. Remember, yesterday we were looking at a bunch of these to possibly manifest. They did. Now we have trades on. We're working them. Remember, don't try and copy what we're doing or follow it. We're already in it. You're not managing it or knowing when to do it. If you're not hooked up to our signal service, you are not supposed to even think about it. So, but we're giving you some good education and ideas to look at what's going on with the market and see how we're managing it. And then if you want to know, then you can get more involved later. So thank you very much. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and good luck with all of your trading.